important one this weekend against the Blues?
Did we say that last week?
Everyone's important though.
Yeah, we'll say it next week as well. But critical game against Carlton, absolutely. Really one we're looking forward to.
Was it a scathing review, John?
No, it wasn't.
Did it feel like a missed opportunity though?
As in we lost the game?
Well, obviously you lost the game, but and you're in it right to the end. But
yeah,
obviously before the game either.
Weren't they?
In the lead up?
No. We were in the game. I thought it was a really exciting game of footy, and we were in it with 2 minutes to go, I think. So we didn't play our best. We've certainly acknowledged that there were parts of our game that weren't at the level that we want them to be. And if you do that, then teams are a chance to beat you.
Was it defensively that the concerns, how freely the Dogs scored?
Certainly their score was a concern. They did kick, I think, 2 or 3 goals really late when we rolled the dice a little bit, but they still had scored too much. So that was a concern for us.
Has that been an issue all year though, in terms of the
Not really, no. I'm not sure where we sit in terms of points against. We're certainly not in the top 8, and we would like to be better defensively. So that's one area that we still need to work on.
What's that? Is it a midfield problem or a backline problem?
It's across the field. Yeah, it's the whole length of the field, how we play and how we work as soon as the opposition win the ball, and that they win it from kick-ins, they win it from turnovers in our forward line, they win it through the midfield, and they win it in our half, so in their own half. So it's an overall game issue.
Josh Graham be back this week?
He's available to go. Yeah, he's flying on the track, so he's a big chance to come in.
Have you missed him the last couple of weeks? Did you?
We kicked our highest score 2 weeks ago. No one went looking for Josh that week. We were quite happy with that, the way everything functioned, and we should have kicked well over 100 points again on the weekend. So we're certainly not saying that we rely on Josh Green to be the final piece in our puzzle. We're pretty happy with the way the forward line's working.
There's been plenty of commentary about Joe Watson's spot in the side. Has it got to the stage where you're starting to have serious conversations about his spot in the side?
No, it hasn't yet. Other than we talk about the way our lineup looks week in, week out, and that's every player's accountable to their position. And we look at the balance of what we need going in against certain opposition. But our lineup's been fairly stable throughout the year, and in general they've functioned pretty well.
What's been your take on his form and his future?
My take on his form is that it's been pretty solid. Yeah, we've been pretty happy with his form throughout the year. He hasn't been best on ground every week, but he hasn't been poor. So I've been pretty happy the way Job's bounced back to footy this year, considering where he's come from. And he's been enjoying his footy, which has been a big thing for us.
I imagine he has pretty lofty standards. Do you get the feeling that he's hitting those within his own mind?
I don't know in his own mind, but he's playing his role for the team, and I think he's working really hard. And like we said, he hasn't been best on ground every week, but he's still helped us become a pretty competitive team.
We've seen a few veterans making calls in their future in the last couple of weeks and having the opportunity to play farewell games. Do you think that's something that would come into the conversation with Job at all?
Hopefully not, because you can't plan a farewell game in the finals. That's our aim. You don't know when your last game's going to be. So ultimately at this stage, as I've said, I'll be sitting down with Job post-season and talking about where we're at as a club, where he's at, and that decision will be made on the balance of the whole season.
About Brent Stanton, the decision on his future, do you expect that before the end of the season?
It's possible if we come to a decision before the end of the season, and that will just be ongoing discussions with Brent, how he's feeling and where we're at. So we'll be really open and honest in terms of what his role may be at the club next year, and how he's feeling. And if we get to that decision before the end of the season, we'll certainly announce that, but I can't say that will happen.
David Zaharakis, is that still, conversation still ongoing? And
is he retiring as well?
No, sorry.
No, that's all right. Ongoing, yes. Yeah, ongoing.
Expecting that to be sorted out before the end of the season?
Yeah, you're asking someone who's by far an expert in that area. Player managers and list managers, they're unique characters, and I'm quite happy to let them sort it out between them.
Patrick Ambrose be brought back in?
Yeah, we'll look at Paddy. He's, he was in such good form early in the year for us. He's worked unbelievably hard to have himself in a position where he's available to come back in the side. So, I think he's had 3 back, and he's definitely due for us to have a good look at him.
You mentioned finals, getting the 4 points this week is pretty important to achieve that.
We're not going to make the finals if we don't win many games. Yeah, that's the sum. But this is an important game. But whether it's for whatever reason, we want to win. Yeah. Ideally, that will help us stay in the hunt for the finals. But we're going to have this conversation, I know, every week for the next 4 weeks. And that's fine. That means we're still in the hunt, and I'll answer the question again next week. It'll be a big game. Important 4 points.
But bit of motivation to get Carlton, considering they knocked you off last time?
Look, we don't live for redemption. We're focusing on building a team that's going to win a premiership. And to do that, we need to play good footy this week and show that we can play it better and stronger. So if we're only trying to get fired up because of what happened this time earlier in the year or last year or whatever, that's not the way we're going to function. We're totally focused on playing great footy for our fans and bringing success in the way of winning games and winning premierships.
They've caused a few teams headaches with their defensive structures this year, and they're quite hard to get through at times. Have you learnt much from the last time you played them, and ways to get around that? Yeah,
we would be silly if we didn't learn from last time we played them, not only for this game but for other games we've played throughout the year. They do have a strong focus, and they've talked openly about building their defence first, so they've been very strong in that. Great opportunity and great challenge for us to score against a team with that focus.